Om Ajnanatimirandasya Gnananjanashalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Deshatarine. Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So here we find that the three deities are pleased by the great austerities performed by Atri Rishi. So what happened? Atri Rishi was engaged in severe austerities. Austerities means taking some kind of inconveniences for the body for realizing the Supreme Lord. Why austerities are required? In the spiritual life, in the spiritual world, no such austerities are actually required. But in the material world, because we are contaminated by matter, the spirit soul has become covered by Maya. So, the spirit of enjoyment has to be regulated in material world. Otherwise, it will lead to not only material distress, but also material bondage. Just like we find Prahlad Maharaj, he gives the example, Kanduyanena karor iva dukkha dukkham. This desire to enjoy material lusty pleasures is compared to the itching sensation which happens in the hand. So, somebody may say, itching is happening, it is natural, I should itch. But actually, that is not natural. That itching is not natural. In healthy state, you will not find your hand is itching, your feet are itching. It is in unhealthy state that there is itching. So in that unhealthy state, if you feel like itching and you keep on itching it, it will deteriorate, even though it may give you temporary satisfaction. So this should be understood very clearly. All these different pleasures which the senses are wanting to enjoy They're all unnatural, like itching sensation. If somehow or other you can regulate and not itch, then slowly that itching sensation will go away. And of course, at the same time, you have to treat the root cause of your itching. Similarly, these tapasyas are required to purify our material desires to enjoy this material world. Because we may wonder why tapasya is at all required. Why I should take inconveniences for the body? Isn't it? Say for example, given freedom, the mind can actually be swayed by any of the roaming senses, as it is given in Bhagavad Gita. Any of the roaming senses. If you don't regulate what I should see, what I should not see, the eyes can carry away the mind. See? So that is why buddhi is very important. One has to work with intelligence and not get swayed away by our mental desires. So regulation is required. This inconvenience to the body for a higher cause is called austerity, tapasya. Now the goal of austerity should be to purify the existence. The goal of austerity should not be to gain some material mystic powers. We find that such kind of great austerities were also performed by asuras. Hiranyakashipu also stood on one leg for years together, and there was a burning fire which emanated even from his head. That is called tapobala. It is the strength. It is by the strength of tapasya, either you can purify yourself or you can get some petty mystic powers. So, it depends on for what you are performing the austerities. Just like it is said, one who is seeing inside and outside Lord Hari, antar bahir yadi Hari, tapasa tatha kim, he does not require any austerity. If after performing tapasya, one does not see Lord Hari, then tapasa tatha kim. Isn't it? So, tapasya has to be performed to purify our existence. It is not that by doing some inconvenience to the body, the Lord is pleased because we are taking trouble. The Lord is not pleased because of some inconveniences, giving inconveniences to His devotees. That is not the idea. It is just like the doctor will be very pleased when you take a bitter medicine because your disease will be cured. Otherwise, in a healthy condition, there is no use of taking medicine. Bitter medicine is not required. Because you have become diseased, now you have to do tapasya. Some regulation is required. And you have to purify your existence. So, here we find goal of Atri Muni was to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by these tapasyas. Purify his existence, procreate progeny as Prajapati, so to procreate progeny, because until and unless our consciousness is pure, whatever we produce will also be impure. So Garbhadana Samskara was a kind of a tapasya, wherein before procreating one purifies his existence. We find so many such examples in the Bhagavatam. Even Daksha, before procreating, we find first he started creating living entities, but then he was not satisfied by the kind of quality of living entities which were produced. So then he stopped creating and he went on to perform severe austerities. First to purify himself. So, there is a lot of difference between the tapasyas done for gaining some material mystic powers and for purifying the self and satisfying the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Actually, the Supreme Lord is fully satisfied. The Supreme Lord and even the soul is completely satisfied only by pure devotional service. No kind of tapasya can actually please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Supreme Lord is not pleased by some severe austerities somebody is performing. So it's not exactly because of the severe austerities of Atri Muni that the Lord is satisfied and he appeared before him. It is because by following this process of, as it is given here, pranayama, Prabhupada is saying, he concentrated on super soul. In the purport, Prabhupada is saying, according to Srila Jiva Goswami, the fire of pranayama is mental satisfaction. Even though there is a gross fire, there is a subtle phenomenon occurring. It is just like, it is said, your face is an index of what is going on in your mind. Correct? From your face one can make out you are depressed, you are undergoing so much of anxiety, or you are happy. One can make out. When somebody is very angry, from one's face itself one can make out. Eyes will be red, his muscles will be tightened, isn't it? One can make out from that itself. So similarly, there may be external phenomenon like production of fire from the head. So will the Lord be just attracted toward one? Fire has come out from his head and the Lord becomes very attracted towards that person? What is it? So much fire we can produce separately also. What is so great about producing fire from the head and the Lord becoming attracted? So Jiva Goswami explains that this fire which comes out from Tapobala is actually the mental satisfaction one has attained after undergoing that tapasya. Because of anartha nivrati, all kinds of impurities when they are removed. Because there is no doubt, until and unless one is happy, one cannot perform devotional service. Brahma bhuta prasannatma na sochati na kankshati. This is the state of mental satisfaction. Completely satisfied. No more material wants. No more material lamentation. Then the mind has become very satisfied. See, for the mind to become satisfied is not very simple thing. It's very difficult. We find Arjuna giving the example. He is saying, my dear Lord, the mind is very flickering. He says it is just like the lamp which is kept in blowing wind. How it can be stable? So in material circumstances, mind cannot be stable. No question. We can regulate the mind to a certain extent, but it cannot be stable. It can become stabilized only on spiritual platform. Otherwise we find again and again people will fall down. Sometimes we are very peaceful, very happy, but then sometimes we are so much tormented because still we have not come to the level of Brahman. When one comes to the point of Brahman, then he is equipoised. Honor, dishonor, heat, cold, sukha, dukkha, in everything one becomes completely equipoised. Why he becomes equipoised? It is not some mental concoction. It is a state of consciousness one has reached after realizing I have nothing to do with honor, dishonor, sukha, dukkha of this material world. They do not belong to me. It is a dreaming condition. I was dreaming. Now I have become awakened. So, he is no more. When one has become awakened, then he understands it was only a dream, bad dream I was seeing. So, one has to become completely satisfied. Now here, we find in the previous times, the processes of realizing the Supreme Personality of Godhead was very difficult, very time consuming. Because the kind of life they used to have was also like that. You can imagine here for 100 years, standing on one leg. Is it possible in Kali Yuga? For 1 hour you try to stand on one leg. Let us see how many of you can try this. Isn't it? The circumstances were like that they were favorable for these kinds of austerities. So those kinds of austerities would produce result. Kali Yuga, the circumstances do not favor such kind of severe austerities. It is completely different altogether. The whole atmosphere is completely different. So, in the earlier times, whether we see the example of Kardama, whether we see the example of Atri Rishi here, or so many other examples, even of Dhruva, such kind of severe austerities were required to regulate the mind and then put on Krishna. But in Kali Yuga, the Lord has done a great favor that if one simply chants the holy name of the Lord, the mind can become locked up in these two, Shravanam and Kirtanam. You see? Now the mind is very flickering. So the Lord, being very kind, has given this great opportunity in this age of Kali, that if someone can chant the holy name of the Lord, and there are no fast and hard rules. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, na niyama na kalaha. There are no hard and fast rules. There is no specific time, no specific consideration. This is a kripa of the Lord. This is a mercy of the Lord. In other time it was not there. To chant the holy name of the Lord also, you have to recite the mantra in a proper way. The Vedic mantras require some kind of proper pronunciation, proper recitation, all those things. But in this age of Kali, the Lord is very merciful. And the holy name of the Lord is so powerful, whether chanted properly, improperly, with proper pronunciation, without proper pronunciation, referring to the Lord, or even jokingly. See? Either in fear, or in happiness, or even jokingly, if someone chants the holy name of the Lord, he becomes benefited. So, it is really a very fallen state of our consciousness if the austerity of 16 round we cannot do. This much austerity, little austerity. Prabhupada wanted only these two important austerity. Follow 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds. You see. So with this little austerity, if we can get the result of these great austerities done by these great personalities, how much great concession the Lord has given, how much merciful the Supreme Lord is, we should know. So that is why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is saying, Nam Nam Akari Bahuda Nij Sarva Shakti Tatrarpita Niyamitaha Smarne Na Kalaha. There are no hard and fast rule. So many different names the Supreme Lord has. One can chant. But he says, unfortunately, still I have no attraction for chanting the holy name. That is our misfortune. So, the state of mind which attracted the Lord after Atri Rishi performed severe austerities, pranayama, and his mind was completely satisfied. And that satisfaction was perceived by the Supreme Lord as super soul in his heart. This is another important point which Prabhupada is making. Directly, this mental satisfaction was not perceived either by Brahma or by Shiva. It is first perceived by the soul who is seated in everyone's heart. So Lord Vishnu perceived the great satisfaction which Atri Muni had come to the point after performing severe austerities and meditating on super soul. And that is how the Lord was pleased with him. So Prabhupada is saying, I'll read this. According to Srila Jiva Goswami, the fire of pranayama is mental satisfaction. That fire was perceived by the super soul, Vishnu, and thereby Lord Brahma and Shiva also perceived it. Atri Muni, by his breathing exercise, see what he did, this is important. Not that by breathing exercise the Lord will be satisfied. It is not that by production of that fire the Lord is satisfied. What did he do by all that? Concentrated on the super soul or the Lord of the universe, as confirmed in Bhagavad Gita. Who is the Lord of the universe? Vasudevam Sarvamiti. He is the Lord of the universe. And by the directions of Vasudeva, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva work. You see? Therefore, on direction of Vasudeva, both Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva perceived the severe penances adopted by Atri Muni, and thus they were pleased to come down, as stated in the next verse. So actually, all living entities are completely dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Narad Muni, in order to clarify for people in general, he was crystal clear in his understanding. But in order to clarify for general mass of population, he asked his own father Brahma that I see you have great power of creation. You create. But then, are you independent in your creation? Or is there someone else above you? Because it looks like that you are like a spider which creates the saliva, and from its own saliva it creates a web. So it is looking like that you don't require anybody's help. You are self-sufficient. Isn't it? So even Brahma actually is not independent. What to talk about small living entities? Even Brahma himself is dependent on the Supreme Lord. So then Brahma clarified. He said, we are all, whether me or Shiva or such great devatas, we are all like bulls. Through our nose there is a rope going. And just like the driver controls the bull, wherever the driver wants, he takes them. This is how everyone works. No one is free from the control of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You see? So here, that is why Srila Jiva Goswami is saying, it is not that independently Brahma and Shiva, they were satisfied. Even when, Bhagavad Gita makes it very clear, even when one is worshipping the Devata, Krishna says, the benediction given by the Devata is actually given by me. See, this is also very important. Someone may be thinking, I am worshipping Durga, I am worshipping Ganapati, and they are giving me benediction. But actually, in reality, the benediction is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are only the in charge. And that is what Krishna conveyed in his Vrindavan Leela, that they have to give. You need not have to bribe them. They are duty bound to give. And Krishna showed that sometimes it may happen that they may try to misuse their power. So Indra tried to misuse his power. And then Krishna broke his arrogance. Prabhupada says, Krishna showed to Indra, your power is nothing, not even equal to my small finger. Prabhupada says that. Krishna lifted the whole Govardhan hill on his small finger. Because after all, Indra is also a devotee of the Lord, and the Lord chastised him to bring him to the right path, right understanding. Krishna does not want that his devotees become falsely proud. So, this is a very important understanding, that actually everyone is fully dependent on the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That is why it is said, Ekale Ishware Krishna or Sab Bhritya. The only master is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everyone else is only a servant of the Lord. So, this devotional service to the Lord, as it is given in Srimad Bhagavatam, even though Bhagavatam describes about, even Bhagavad Gita describes about different kinds of processes which people take up, but factually, until and unless all of them culminate in devotional service, they are all useless. Karma, if it is not mixed with devotional service, cannot produce any result. Whether it is karma, whether it is jnana, whether it is yoga, they have to be mixed with devotional service to progress in devotional life. But devotional service is independent of all of them. This is the beauty of devotional service to the Lord. Those who cannot take to devotional service, for them it is advised that, okay, you take to the other process and then slowly you will come to this path. Path to God is only one. There is no doubt about it. All other paths lead to this path, single path of devotional service. They cannot lead directly to the Supreme Lord. That is why even Brahma says, Jnane prayase udapasya namanta eva. With your speculation, with your mind, it is not possible. Neither by severe austerities, by reading the Vedas, it is not possible. So actually, whatever we find here, that the Lord is pleased by Atri Rishi's great austerities, it's not exactly by the austerities. After austerities, when he has concentrated on the Supreme Personality of God, and when he was thinking of the Supreme Lord, and when he was completely satisfied by that process, the Lord was pleased with him. So, we are very fortunate that we don't have to undergo all such kind of indirect processes. We can directly take to devotional service of the Lord. And even in the devotional service of the Lord, Kali Yuga, if we simply chant the holy name of the Lord, all the results can be achieved. Because everything begins with Shravanam and Kirtanam. So if Shramanam and Kirtanam, one can somehow or other practice in association of devotees nicely, then there is no doubt about it that one can advance in devotional service. So, one can very easily satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead by just following whatever Srila Prabhupada has given, whatever direction Srila Prabhupada has given. Yasya prasadat bhagavat prasado, yasya aprasadat nagati kutopi. So this should be our determination, that we find so many examples that such personalities for 100 years, they performed so much severe austerity, so much determination they had. Should we not have at least little determination? The Lord has made the process very simplified. In this small lifetime we can achieve. Devotional service is so great, it is described in Bhagavatam. In any stage, if one has somehow or other come to the point of taking to devotional service, his life can be perfected. Many examples are given. Because Parikshit Maharaj was very worried. He has only 7 days to perfect his life. He was very worried. So in response to that, Shukdev Goswami gave so many examples. Example of even Khatwanga Maharaj, who had only some time, very little time left with him. And even in that time, he perfected his life. Shukdev Goswami gave the example of Dhritarashtra, who in his very old age somehow or other came to his senses by the association of great personality like Vidura, and from there he took up the determination and he perfected his life. Dhruva Maharaj, as a child, he became so determined. Within 6 months, he was able to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Isn't it? So we should see from this example, these personalities, they had to perform so much of severe tapasya, then the Lord was pleased. 100 years the Lord was not pleased. 100 years he had to stand on one leg. See? And by mercy of Prabhupada, we can please the Supreme Personality of Godhead in a moment, if we are sincere, if we are determined. So that much determination we should have, isn't it? That much determination. This is what we should learn from all these examples, what we can see here. 100 years, imagine no food, no nothing. For us it is so difficult. Prabhupada has given you 3 times. 3 times you can take nice prasadam. After that also, if we fail to come for Mangalarati, we don't want to attend program, we are really very unfortunate in that condition, we should think. Isn't it? So many years of our life has already passed by. So we should be very conscious. Isn't it? Avyartha kalatvam. This is one of the signs of a advanced devotee. Always he is very conscious whether I am wasting my time. Whether I am wasting my time or I am utilizing my time. Anytime you are putting for Maya, it's a greatest loss, gone forever. And any time for anything, it may be as insignificant, you may think that let me read some shloka in Bhagavad Gita. Even that little thing is perceived by the Lord. That is why it is said, Swalpam, even little step you take, the Lord is very pleased by that. Just by chanting the holy name of Narayana, Ajamila was saved. Yamadutas were told by, Yamaraj is telling, my dear sons, just see the glory of chanting the holy name of the Lord. Just by uttering, not even name of Lord Narayana, not even thinking about Narayana. Ajamila was saved from such a great danger. Just understand what is the potency of chanting the holy name of the Lord. So you can imagine, if with love and faith we chant, how much more we can please the Supreme Personality of God. This is the understanding. So we'll stop with this. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.